I would imagine that many of us desire to be in relationships, but I know we don't want them to come with all of the negative issues that are part of a relationship. I know that there are many people who lack the words to truly express what needs to be communicated when they're in a relationship. We also may not fully understand exactly what our own unmet needs are when we are going through something, but then yet we project onto other people because we ourselves have an unmet need that we're just not aware of. Consider like a baby who or 2-year-old who throws tantrums. They may not really know or have the words to really express what's going on with them. So they cry because they're in discomfort. And it is up to a parent to be able to determine what their needs may be because they don't have the capacity to figure that out for themselves, especially in the earliest parts of their life. Well, we can be like that even as adults. May not have the right words to communicate, and we may not be fully aware of what it is that we actually need unless we take the time to determine what that is. And once we do that, then we can recognize whether or not the person that we might be in a relationship with has the capacity to meet the need that we have. I would imagine that many of us desire to be in relationships, but I know we don't want them to come with all of the negative issues that are part of a relationship. I don't know if we just hope that we can have a relationship with nothing, where nothing goes wrong, but that's unrealistic. And if you're anything like me, you know it's unrealistic, and there's nobody in a relationship that doesn't go through something. So we gotta remember that nobody is going into a relationship thinking or saying, I want somebody to control me, or I want somebody to tell me what to wear, where to go, who my friends should be, or what I should do, or what goals I should have, or what goals should I go after. Nobody wants that in a relationship. Nobody is seeking a person to control their lives, especially when all of us can't wait to get out of our parents' homes and get from under the rule of parents and caregivers. We don't go into relationships hoping that we can get the same treatment that we got when we were growing up and when we were kids, right? Yet people get attitude once they get into a relationship. They get these attitudes when we don't respond to their demands or meet their unrealistic expectations. And that happens in many relationships where the person has this idea that the person that they're connected to is supposed to follow their rule, follow their law, follow their lead, so to speak. And as if a person is coming into a relationship giving up all of their ability to make decisions for themselves. So what I would hope is that we get to a place where we consider whether or not we're the type of people that are doing that in the relationship, or what needs to be done when we see it being done to us. The thing is the person that does it, they too want to be heard and to be understood, but they go about it in the wrong way. So that's why conflict ends up happening in relationship. And then the person that is on the receiving end will be questioning whether or not they really made the right decision to connect with this person in the beginning. And that's not the way to go about it. It's not always good to just immediately go to, let me get out of this, let me end this, let me run. because you don't grow from running. You don't grow from not confronting or addressing issues. You just stay the same way that you are, and that you take you into the next relationship. So when this happens, we need to remember to have some sort of plan to get over the hurdle or the conflict that we run into. Because in reality, we don't quit journeys when we're like on our way to a journey or on our way to a trip just because of the detour signs. And just because a road is closed doesn't mean we turn around and just end it and start all over or just forget about the trip in itself. We don't stop because it starts raining. We don't stop because it starts snowing. We may still be able to proceed, but it might mean that we need to pull off to the side of the road or take a rest until things calm down. But it's not a reason for us to say, you know what, forget this trip. I'm going back, forget about it. When you know you really want to get to the place that you're trying to get to in the first place. So we don't need to quit journeys just because they seem hard or it seemed like we're not getting very far in the relationship. We should always make sure that we have healthy conversations with the people that we may be in conflict with, and find time to discuss, ask for time to discuss what may be a problem or issue that y'all end up facing. When you have conversations, make sure to not have any expectations of the way that the other person is going to respond. And we have to make sure that we give people the space to express themselves, because sometimes people don't make it safe for others to express themselves, expressing their needs and their feelings and what they're hoping for. So we need to make sure that we allow that space for people to feel safe and to open up to us and to be vulnerable with us in order to, get out what might be going on with them. And we also need to check to make sure that we both are still willing to continue on the journey together. Because the thing is if something happens and somebody has literally checked out because of how difficult the journey may be, you have to make sure that y'all are still willing to continue the journey together and making sure that somebody hasn't changed their mind. If you don't have a plan to make space for healthy conversations and dialogue about the relationship, the journey that you're on is going to be rough. It's going to always be rough. It's going to always feel difficult and challenging. And that just really sucks the life out of people. And people end up becoming depressed and overwhelmed and hopeless because they don't believe that anything is ever going to get better. So we don't want the journey together to be a miserable one. Miscommunication and misunderstanding will show up like choking weeds in any relationship, like in a garden, and you have this beautiful garden and these beautiful vegetables and flowers or whatever in that garden, and here comes these annoying weeds. And those weeds will just choke out every good part of that garden and your relationship. Annoying weeds in a beautiful garden represents, to me, the enemy. And the enemy is there to divide and to conquer and to make people quit and to make people give up. So we don't want to allow that to come in and destroy the whole journey or destroy the whole trip, trip that you're going on together. If you are unable to check your emotions because you haven't really had enough help or you don't have the tools to manage your own mind, then it may be helpful for you to seek counsel, wise counsel, or to seek help from a professional, a mental health professional, to help you with learning how to manage your mind. Because an unchecked mind is a danger to self. It really is. So you want to get assistance with that if you're having difficult managing your own mind. You want to be able to self-manage, self-control, and be self-aware of your, of the things that you may have issues with. You want to know your weaknesses just like you want to know your strengths. So maybe that means you doing something extra if you don't seek wise counsel, and that might be meditation, yoga, deep breathing, taking a walk, or again, as I said before, just seeking out somebody wise to speak to that can help you process, because sometimes it's just a matter of processing your thoughts and your feelings with someone who's willing to listen and who will make space for you if you don't believe that that's what you're gaining from being in a relationship that you're in. Sometimes stepping out to someone else that can help and see a different viewpoint for you will give you a little bit of clarity in helping you to understand what might be the issue with the way that each one of you communicates. A proactive plan is crucial, and you want to consider how you were maybe in past relationships. Think about the way that you showed up in your past relationships, because repeating those bad habits can lead to a major change in your relationship. I'm one that don't believe that relationships actually end. I just believe that they change. And, sometimes they change for the better. Sometimes they change for the worse, because if you don't have access to somebody that you once loved, then that relationship has changed, but it's not actually over. It's just, y'all may never see each other again. Y'all may only see each other once a year or whatever. But the thing is, it's still going to be ongoing, but just different. So ask yourself these 4 questions. 1, how did your reactions in your past relationship affect the relationship? 2, what was the outcome as a result of that action or that reaction? 3, what did you learn, or what knowledge did you gain or lesson did you learn from it? Did you learn a lesson? And if you did learn a lesson, have you started applying that in other relationships? And lastly, what could you do differently? And if you could rewind, how would you respond differently the next time? All right. Hopefully that will trigger some thoughts for you in considering, because we're all made for relationships. But the thing is, we have to do the work with ourselves to be the right person in that relationship. All right. Until the next time, y'all. Good mental health, good spiritual health, and as always, good physical health. Y'all take great care.